The metrics that we're using to prove the value of our work range from time spent on the article, engagements. If it's an interactive piece, that's extremely important. How much are people interacting with the content? If the advertiser is looking to reach scale, then page views are very important, or video views. So it really depends on, we can sort of help advertisers figure out what's that KPI that marries to the larger objective, and then that's what we measure to prove value. The other thing we do is brand studies. So we want to show, that a very specific message got across to the audience, or that the brand's reputation lifted among the audience, the perception of a brand changed. These are nuanced questions that are hard to encapsulate with engagement metrics or page view metrics. Then it's really smart to do a brand study and actually ask those questions of the people who are exposed to the storytelling.
The value of our work is fairly easy to prove now. We've invested heavily in business intelligence tools. We look at scale, we look at sales, we look at the value of an experience, and our own proprietary algorithm that sits behind that. So what we would call that return on experience. And we're using that with clients to help them achieve their goals and invest more heavily in experiential.
In terms of metrics, it's really a mix of old and new. The old was outputs, how have we extended reach for our campaign? What messages have we pulled through? Are we reaching the right audiences? And those things remain important to a lot of brands because they're how a lot of professionals are measured internally within organizations, but we're pushing more towards outcomes. So our base level measurement programs with our clients also include how can we correlate to organic conversation? If we create a campaign, are we hearing organic conversation among the customers we're trying to reach? We also look at sales correlations. Are we able to correlate some of the marketing efforts that we have as a translation into consideration for the brand or driving awareness with a set of consumers that maybe hadn't considered the brand in the past? So we always try and push towards outcomes for brands. And the more our clients are open to doing that, sharing metrics about website traffic, about time on site, about where the consumer was most engaged, that helps us inform and even strengthen and optimize campaigns that we create. So it's really a blend. The ideal is that everybody's focused on pushing the envelope of measurement and trying to be as stringent in protocols against campaigns. But the reality is it's a blend of the old world and the new world, and we're pushing obviously towards the new world and trying to show the value of PR as it connects to really, really mainstream things like business performance. Confidence in a brand affects stock performance. Things like that are really important, and we're always excited when a brand lets us make those correlations, shares that data, and helps us take it that far, because in the end you can really find that public relations performs exceptionally well within marketing mix.
When it comes to metrics, we very much focus on aligning metrics across channels to our clients' business goals. And so the first thing that we will do when we start working with a client is to identify what those business goals are. We then set different types of metrics for each of the goals, and that might range from awareness down to lead generation and even conversion. And we would look at different channels and how they can deliver on those metrics. And so when it comes to awareness, you might look at key message penetration in your media coverage. When it comes to lead generation, it might be click-through rates to your landing pages from social media, or conversion could even be conversion directly within social media apps. And what we will then do is set different benchmarks based on our past campaigns and performance that we can then compare ourselves to for the future, so that we're continuously improving on those goals.
So at Giphy, we're in a unique situation where, and there's probably a lot of tech vendors that feel the same way, we have a lot of different facets of what we do. So there's a consumer side, there's B2B, there's the more technical side of what we do, and then a more general thought leadership. So one way or one metric you could say that we use to define the value of PR is, are we hitting all of those different facets in a way that's impactful to the respective audience? So it could be number of pieces, that's a goal for, say, the consumer side versus B2B. It could be a certain message for B2B that's very specific to brands or marketers. And so we really try and measure the exact metrics and goals against each individual department and audience that we're trying to connect with.
We use many metrics to prove the value of our work, quantitative and qualitative measures of the outputs of our work. We do a tremendous amount of benchmarking analysis to understand the state of our stakeholders' understanding of our story and how we can move that story forward. We plug into a lot of broader analytics that are measuring marketing effectiveness, brand strength, and other elements that public relations is a part of in the integrated marketing mix.
We utilize a lot of different techniques. We look at impressions, not only across traditional press, but then also social. We look at engagement on social as well. And then certainly on the ground, we look at press impressions that we were able to garner to that event.
When we start to look at metrics and how are we going to prove the value of our work, we start by thinking about how is that business making money? How are they starting to benchmark the success of their individual quarter, of their business overall? From there, we're able to have a much deeper conversation that looks at the kind of metrics that really matter. We don't want to look at vanity metrics. We don't want to look at things that are metrics of the past in the PR industry. I firmly believe that the AV is dead and we need to use new tools and solutions to measure things like share of voice, to look at quality and the quantity of coverage, and really tie that back to how PR is driving a business forward.